we've just got The Guardian just coming in as we look at this. Here we are in our big screen here. News of the world they're going with. Hacked Millie Dowler's phone during police hunt. Now they're claiming an exclusive on this. Obviously the other papers are following up, but The Guardian has of course been pursuing this. And the issue here that the voicemails were deleted, as they say, giving the family false hope.
Well, this broke about, tea time today, and so obviously it is a Guardian exclusive. I think Nick Davies and Amelia Hill have clearly been working on this for some time, and now they're absolutely sure, and the police have confirmed that Millie Dowler's voicemails were not only listened to, but some of them were deleted in order to make room for fresh voicemails, which could give rise to fresh stories for the news of the world. An interview, some teacher interview they did based on one received voicemail, and also the Millie Dowler's parents even gave an interview, it appears, to the news of the world.
So the suggestion is that they're using this as a
story-generating device, really, for the news of the world.
The issue being, David, that this actually could have been evidence in a criminal case, as well as giving this family false hope that she was accessing these emails herself, or the voicemails herself.
Exactly. I mean, this is a deeply unpleasant story, if true. And
it's been confirmed.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm afraid it does appear to be true.
But you know, the key thing is that it will turn most people's stomachs in the country. It's the worst thing that a parent, and I've got young children, the worst thing a parent can think about, which is their child going missing or their child being murdered, and then to find out that journalists deliberately hacked into the phone. And
the journalist involved here is a private investigator, and we don't know as yet whether the journalist involved had direct knowledge of what Mulcair was doing. That's an important issue.
What you mean, that the journalists in the News of the World who are writing the stories had no idea of what this phone hacker was doing and coming up with?
We don't know that.
We don't know that. Yeah. I mean, I suppose one struggles to find anything to say of any positive light in this story. I mean, as we're sitting in Sky, I sort of feel I should say, you know, it's really tough out there for newspapers, and they're desperate to find stories. This is the lowest form of life.
What do you make of this, David, on a political scale now? Because if we look at the characters involved, Rebecca Brooks, who's now Chief Executive Officer of News International, she was the editor of News of the World. Andy Coulson, who was deputy to her at the time, former head of communications, of course, at number 10. And then Glenn Mulcair at the bottom of the private investigator who's been involved directly, we know. But this is now going beyond the celebrity tittle-tattle of the actresses, the actors and so on, and getting celebrity gossip, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, this is, you know, look, it is wrong to hack anybody's phone, but this will really shock people, and there are new names that are coming into the frame. There's no conclusive proof. But it does throw up a series of questions that need to be answered. I personally have a lot of respect for Rupert Murdoch, but the way that this is actually going, I think it's causing him and his papers kind of huge damage in the United States.
I mean, we all heard Lord Prescott got on his hind legs today, of course, and in order to ram the point home that this makes Rupert Murdoch unfit to take hold of B-Sky-B. So it's gone so beyond Millie Dowler and Millie Dowler's parents already today.
Well, let's bring up the Independent's front page, because again they're going with, there we are, the Dowler story. And again, we've got Rebecca Brooks there on the right, who was the editor of the News of the World at the time, as we're saying now, with News International News Corporation. We're basically, I guess, getting them following the Guardian's lead with this. I can't see
They haven't got any additional information from the Guardian splash today. I mean, it's not surprising in a way that the Guardian and the Independent are having a go at News International papers. I mean, because, as I said earlier, you know, the competition is cutthroat.
What they have done, though, David, they've gone over on the right-hand side there for this issue on long-term social care, bedeviled many governments. I think, was it 1999, the Royal Commission that we saw issue being addressed at some length?
A colleague of mine recently described it as one of the Russian fronts in British politics.
You just don't want to go.
You don't want to go there. However, to me, I think this is a really interesting story. It's an interesting story because this is the second day that it's run, which shows that it's a story that really speaks to people in the country. As we think about our own care as we get older, and also our kind of parents' care. And I actually think, I worked at Number 10 for Gordon Brown. We looked at this issue, and ultimately, where I came out on it as an issue, this is something that's so important to the country. It's one of the biggest challenges that we're going to have over the next kind of 20 to 30 years in terms of, helping deal with an aging population. You need cross-party consensus on this, and you need all the parties to come together to deal with this issue, because if we don't deal with this issue,